The Lake Erie Grape Discovery Center is the official visitor center for the New York State Lake Erie Concord Grape Belt Heritage Area. Supporting and promoting the grape industry, visit us and learn about grape growing history in the Lake Erie region. Shop for grapey gifts, taste local wine in a Concord vineyard. Westfield Memorial Hospital provides high-quality health care to residents of Western New York, offering patients the most sophisticated medical advancements while keeping the ease and familiarity of a community hospital. Support for Chautauqua Sunrise has been provided by WRFA 107.9 FM, Jamestown's public radio station, streaming online 24/7 at WRFALP.com. Low power to the people. Funding is provided by a grant from New York State Senator Catherine M. Young, representing Western New York's 57th District with a local office in Olean. Chautauqua Sunrise is made possible by a grant from Fredonia Place, a continuing care retirement community providing dignity in a modern luxury environment. Meter's Restaurant, a family tradition for over 50 years in downtown Ripley, is a proud supporter of Chautauqua Sunrise. Meter's provides all-day dining, banquet services, and custom catering, specializing in pie. From the Access Channel 5 studios in Mayville, it's Chautauqua Sunrise. Chautauqua Sunrise is hosted by Doc Hamels and supported by the award-winning volunteers at Access Channel 5. Continuing the traditions of Senior Report, we are here to share local news, colorful interviews, and events of interest to everyone. Chautauqua Sunrise is broadcast live Saturday mornings each week, countywide, from 9 to 10 a.m. Join us by calling in live, emailing us, or checking out our social media. And now, from the Channel 5 studios, it's Chautauqua Sunrise.
Hey, good morning, everybody. I'm Doc Hamels, and welcome to Chautauqua Sunrise. We got a full show today, so I'm going to talk fast, and you got to listen faster, because I got to put all this stuff into 1 hour, actually 56 minutes and some seconds. So anyways, hey, to all our veterans out there, thank you very much, and I hope you have a great day. And folks, get out there and participate in various veteran services and recognitions. And I know over in Ripley, we're going to have a program at 11 o'clock. 11th day, the 11th month at the 11th hour, and they do a nice ceremony over there, and I'm sure in all of your communities you're having the same thing. So anyways, veterans, thank you for your service as always. I want to welcome our listeners in Jamestown at WRFA 107.9, low power to the people. We're going to be, you're going to listen to us Tuesdays at 1 o'clock, so thank you for joining us, and as well as our viewers Saturday morning right here at Access 5 at 9 o'clock. So we've got a lot going on today. I think you probably woke up to sub-freezing temperatures today. The only good news is we're not in Bradford. They were at 5 degrees this morning. I think it was 18 at my house. I don't know. Jamestown was like 10 degrees or something. So kind of a change in temps, but it's going to warm up again. But hey, that's what we're all about here in Chautauqua County. We're tough. Okay, I'm not going to spend a lot of time on miscellaneous stuff. I want to get right down to my community announcements, because we got some friends here that are going to be talking with us in the first part of the show. I got more friends for the second part of the show, so let me get right into things. Okay, our friends over at Infinity, and I've sort of trimmed off some of these announcements so I can squeeze everything in today. They want you to note that there's going to be a new student orientations on November 16th, Thursday, all right? And it's a 30-minute program where they students get to tour the facilities, learn more about the programs, and select an area of interest like dance, music, theater, and so forth. For more information, give them a call 664-0991. And also they want you to know that they are going to have a birthday on the 17th, Friday the 17th. And they're going to be 19 years old, 19 years in providing programs throughout the county. So they're going to have this celebration at 7 o'clock in the Arts Cafe, and they're going to have some live music and so forth. So check it out. My friends over the Safety Education Village want you to know that on Tuesday, November 21st, from 5 to 8 p.m., I was going to go in the morning there, they're going to be offering a CPR AED class. These classes are designed to teach students how to perform CPR, choking maneuvers, and the use of an AED for adults, children, and infants, and so forth. So all kinds of good stuff there. If you're interested, it's $45, and give Jessica Dayton a call at 338-0171. And if you haven't been to the Safety Village or participated in any of their programs, you're missing out on a huge opportunity, especially for kids. And I know a lot of the children in the county have been through the program. Just ask any one of the kids at Thanksgiving that's sitting around the table and say, "You've been to the Safety Education Village?" And they're going to tell you they did, and they're going to tell you how they were impressed with it. But if you're interested in this CPR AD class, give them a call. Once again, 338-0171. All right, moving right along. Make sure I'm on the right pages here. Community Foundation Week. The Northern Chautauqua Community Foundation is celebrating their week from November 12th to the 18th. And they're going to have an open house from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Fredonia Technology Incubator at 214 Central Avenue in Dunkirk. Okay. During the event, nonprofits will receive grant awards, and service learning teachers and students will be recognized. Enjoy a light lunch, prizes, and mingling during the celebration. All right, and for more information, you can go to their website at nccfoundation.org. All right, and let's see here. Then today, starting just a little while, Girl Scouts of Western New York, they're celebrating their 25th anniversary of their building up there on Horton Road. And it starts at, let me see here, at 11 a.m. through 3 p.m. Volunteers, staff, friends, and guests will celebrate the 25th anniversary of the construction of their beautiful Girl Scout Service Center in Jamestown. So if you've never been there, that's a great location as well. All right, I'm looking through here real quick. I said I axed a few things because we can get to those later on. Okay, this one's called Manufacturing Lead Gen and Sales Summit. I think it's a new one. Learn the skills to improve lead generation and sales for your manufacturing company by attending the 2017 Manufacturing Lead. It says, looks like lead, could be lead, but it's lead. Gen and Sales Summit, Wednesday, November 15th at the Jamestown campus of JCC. The speakers for the events are experts who have produced real business growth results from manufacturers. And it's $20. And for more information, go to www.protocol80.com. Okay, some of these things are coming from our friends from the Chamber of Commerce. Then we have another thing called Cyber Security Seminar. It's going to be a topic Wednesday, November 15th, when Phillips Lytle presents Deconstructing Cybersecurity Obligations, a continuing legal education program about recent legal issues raised by trends in technology and cybersecurity. If that isn't a hot topic, I don't know what is. If you're interested in participating, give them a call at 847-5469. A lot of things happening in the next week or so. Many Faces of Addiction Education Forum. No One Cause, No One Solution is a free community education forum for the public on Wednesday, November 15th at 6:30 p.m. at JCC's Sharman Theater. The event is being presented by the Healthcare Action Team, American Association of University of Women, and the Mental Health Association of Chautauqua County. Dr. Lillian Ney will be moderating the program, so everyone's invited. Reservations are not required at all. It's free. So again, November 15th, 6:30 at JCC. Okay, Youth Power, a Potential event is going to be held November 16th. From 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Reg Linnaeus Center for the Arts, featuring presentation from the Power of Youth Advocacy by Dover Youth to Youth. Let's see, just looking here real quick. For more information on this, go to give them a call 664-3608 or go to their website, hopechautauqua.org. Okay, and this is all about youth empowerment. In these days that we live now, students, young folks need to be able to speak their minds and have their voices heard among all the noise here. All right, Dunkirk Community Chamber Annual Appreciation Dinner is going to be held November 16th at Manning's Fireside Manor Restaurant. And if you're interested in going to that, Give them a call at 366-6200. And the Mayville Chautauqua Community Chamber has their annual banquet, and that's going to be held November 16th at Andriacchio's Family Restaurant. And if you're interested in attending that, 753-3113. And we're going to jump ahead on this. Reminder, on December 2, the Lakeshore Model Railroad Association is going to have an annual Christmas open house where the public is welcome, and that is going to be held, hang on a second, I'll find it, at the Eastminster Presbyterian Church in Erie, Pennsylvania. And that should be a lot of fun, where they have all the little trains set up, and large trains, little trains, and we'll talk more about that with the prices next week. Okay, then breakfast with Santa and friends. Imagine that. I don't know about you guys, there's a new term out there I just learned this week. Y'all heard about Christmas, heard about New Year's, then they came out with Black Friday. Now it's the pre-sale, pre-Black Friday sale, and pre-Cyber Monday sale. So I'm totally lost. As you know, I'm not negative about the holidays, but some of this stuff gets to me after a while. All right, breakfast with Santa and friends. This is good stuff, though. This is for kids. It's going to be held at the Children's Safety Education Village, December 2nd from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Adults $5. 3 to 12-year-olds are $3, and 2-year-olds and under is free. Featuring cookie decorating, kids crafts, pictures with characters from the movie Frozen, pictures with Santa and friends, caroling, train rides, and Christmas shopping for adults. So that's coming up on December 2nd as well. So you can go to trains, and then you can go to the Safety Village. It'll be all kind of a fun day. All right. And then we have Home for the Holidays, Christmas at the Reg. Oh, this is a good one. This is going to be on December 9th from starting at 4 o'clock. Yours truly and my partner Will Russell and I will be part of it. The new Christmas tradition, this is from Dennis Drew and Company. Bring the family for the afternoon of a festive music. Hang on. Bring the family for an afternoon of festive music from the Panama Concert Choir, Helga Hulse, Russell and Hamels, that's me. Southwestern Choralers, the Pearl City Jazz featuring Raz Rasmussen, the Jamestown High School Madrigal Singers, Bill Ward and Friends, Cole Lazarus, and returning from last year, Ron Orbach, Marla Harris, and Steve Davis. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and we'll talk a little bit more about that as we get closer, but mark your calendars December 9th at the Reg. I'm looking forward to that. And let's see, then we have something called the World Juniors Exhibition Games. This is hard to say in the morning. Presented by Doubletree by Hilton Jamestown. And this is hockey. I got a cheerleader over here. And if you're interested in watching the 2 days worth of world-class competition, the December games will feature Team USA against Belarus on Wednesday the 20th, and Belarus taking on Slovakia Thursday the 21st. And for more information, give them a call at 484-2624. All right, that's it on announcements, because I want to get right to some folks that are sitting right next to me, but I have to do one thing. I have to put on my costume here. I have to put on my appropriate hat. There we go. Now I'm ready. Top of the morning to you.
It's much better. You look much better.
Much better now.
Yeah.
Well, humbug. My kind of guy. Humbug. So,
He was. If you know, this is Ebenezer Scrooge.
I know Ebenezer. I met him earlier.
And he is the most miserable person in the world.
I'm worse than that.
I came up from Westfield with him. Nothing good to say about anything.
Okay, gentlemen, as we go along here, I know that you're from a different time, but you need to work with our present-day technology. Keep that mic higher. So,
I forgot I had it in my hand. I was so excited to be here.
Father Christmas, tell me what's going on here.
No, I'm the ghost of Christmas present, silly goose.
You're not Father Christmas?
No.
Where's Father Christmas?
I don't know where. No, I'm not Father Christmas.
Can't you? You're a ghost.
Sue would be very upset if you thought it's not. This is the ghost of Christmas present from Westfield, New York.
No wonder he didn't know he had a microphone yet. He hasn't got a brain. He's a goat.
Why are you guys in my studio this morning?
We're back! We're back, Doc! We're back.
Who said you needed a microphone? So, Ghost and Sir, what brings you here today on this fine day?
I got to use my cheat sheet.
All right. You want my
We're
glass?
here for
Yes.
Christmas in the Village, a Dickens holiday in Westfield, New York, which is taking place November 17th, 18th, and 19th.
That's next weekend.
Absolutely. That's why we're here
Now.
That's
Yeah,
right.
it's better that way.
That's why we're here now. That's why we're here now. And there are so many events going on, Doc, that I'm anxious to tell you about everything we have going on.
Please do.
They've got the list that they could pop up there in the screen. But Santa comes to town on the 17th with snacks at the YWC afterwards.
See, it's not easy to read in the morning, is it?
It's not. Then one of the biggie things is Friday evening, though. We have a live performance of A Christmas Carol, which is being presented by Kim Tenriro from Rochester. He does a one-man show of the entire Christmas Carol. It's fabulous. It's at the Presbyterian Church, sponsored by Lakeshore Center of the Arts. Admission is a mere $10, and
That's in that brand new theater you have there.
No. It's in the sanctuary.
Oh, in the church.
It's in
Okay.
the sanctuary.
Not in the theater.
Right. The play starts at 7. However, he does a retrospective on Dickens at 6:15. So if you want a little history and background on Dickens, he does that. On Saturday, 8 to 10, in the Presbyterian Church, there's Breakfast with Santa. At 10 a.m. is the Holiday Fest at the Checker Show at the Patterson Library. 11 a.m. till 3 p.m., the Victorian Holiday Tea at the McClurg Mansion. Meet Queen Victoria.
Queen Victoria's going to be there?
Yeah, Queen Victoria's going to be there.
Who knew?
$15 for that. You know,
Royal.
That's a steal.
Royal.
Yeah. Saturday and Sunday, the 18th and 19th, 10 to 4 at Eason Hall. Artisans and purveyors of fine merchandise and concessions.
Would that be purveyors?
I'm sorry, purveyors, yes.
That's
11
easy
to
work
4.
with him.
11 to 4, horse-drawn carriage rides at Easton Hall.
Horse.
11 to 4, Hall of Trees at the Patterson Library.
That's going to be pretty.
And
Such a
during
deal.
all of this, we have a traveling show of A Christmas Carol that will be wandering. We do a 5-minute version of the Christmas Carol on each corner in Westfield. So come on down.
How many
you'll see
corners
that.
are there?
Hey,
We'll be talking people out of Christmas.
Mr. Pleasant will be
Mr.
there.
Pleasant.
Yeah.
Can
Not
I talk
spending
to...
their money that they owe me.
Give him the microphone, Ghost of Christmas Present.
Yeah, not Father
So,
Christmas.
Mr. Scrooge May,
What?
welcome to the show.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome. So,
Do you owe me money?
probably,
I think Bob Cratchit told me your name came up the other day.
I was probably in the big book.
But you'll probably go out and buy Christmas presents instead of paying me what you owe me.
Well, the pre-Black Friday sale's coming up, so I need to get ready.
Well, the only place I would actually shop would be Matthew's Jewelers.
Oh,
Jewelry would be the only thing you could buy.
only thing.
Yes.
My wife has lots of jewelry, so we're in good shape. So, what's your role in the Chris? Oh, he's giving me the Scrooge look. What are you going to do with a Christmas
What's
present?
his role? Did you say what's his
No,
role?
what's he? I mean, he's grumpy. Is he going to show up? What's he going to do?
Oh, we have a traveling troupe that travels.
Oh, he's part of it.
Yeah, he's part of that traveling troupe.
all right.
Plus, we have carolers that go around the entire village of Westfield singing too.
Yes.
Yeah, Scrooge and I are also in that.
Oh.
We stretch ourselves thin on the holiday spirit.
Bob Cratchit will be there.
Bob Cratchit.
absolutely.
Anybody
Bob
else?
Marley.
Jacob
Marley.
Bob Marley.
Bob and Jacob Marley.
Is Bob Marley going to be
They'll
there?
both be there.
He's from the Ghost of Jamaica Past.
Have a Jamaica Christmas. Yeah, I can't wait for that. That will be great.
He owes me money.
Hey, let me tell you who's doing this. This
Please do.
is the Village of Westfield's doing this. Lakeshore Center for the Arts, who you know
I know very well.
are doing this. Chautauqua County Historical Society. That's that John Paul boy.
Jean-Paul.
Yeah, Jean Paul is doing that.
Wolfman.
The Patterson Library, Nancy and the
Yeah,
kids.
okay.
Westfield Barcelona Chamber of Commerce and
And?
the Westfield Women's Organization will be presenting that
Wonderful.
weekend.
All right,
What
so
more could you ask for?
how about another show?
Oh!
We could have another show, couldn't
We
we?
do have another show coming up in December. Is that
Yeah,
the show
let's talk
you're
about that
referring
one too.
to? Okay, I wasn't sure if you wanted to go there. but
Absolutely.
on December 15th, we will be presenting for how many years have we done this?
This will be our third year.
Third year, a free to the public this year, because we appreciate and love you so much, a free presentation of It's a Wonderful Life at the Presbyterian Church, however, performed by Lakeshore Center of the Arts at 7 p.m. So come on down. It's wonderful. It's a radio show format, and I think you'll love it. It's really, really good.
Okay, guys, we have other things to do here. So,
Oh, you're throwing us out now?
No,
Oh.
Mr. Scrooge, anything you want to share before you leave? Because he has things to do at the bank.
I just have one thing to say.
Yes, Mr. Scrooge.
Blah, humbug.
And Ghost of Christmas Present, would you have anything else to say?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
Well, thank you for joining all of us today, and we're looking forward to a wonderful weekend. That's next weekend. What are the dates again? November
17th, 18th, and 19th.
And so-
Please come to Westfield. We'd love for you to come to Westfield, even when we're not having things like this there.
All right.
We have great restaurants, all kind of good stuff going on.
All right.
And quite a fine jewelry store.
All right, folks. There you have it.
Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. All right. We're going to take a little break here, and we'll be right back with our regularly scheduled program. Stay tuned.
I am a veteran, and my victory was finding the strength to be a champion.
I am a veteran. My victory is having a job I can be proud of.
America's veterans are on their most important tour, the tour of their lives.
My victory was finishing my education.
Mine is proving a disability is not a limitation.
At DAV, we're on a mission to help veterans get the benefits they've earned.
My victory is having my new battle buddy.
As veterans face their challenges, DAV is there to help for victories great and small.
I'm a veteran, and my victory is getting the help I needed to put my life back together.
DAV offers veterans of all generations a lifetime of support.
I am a veteran. My victory is being there for my family.
When America's veterans win, we all win. Help us support more victories for veterans. Go to DAV.org.
And we're back. I'm still trying to get under control after the Ghost of Christmas Present and Ebenezer Scrooge were just with it. Bye, goodbye. Oh my God, so much fun. Well, as you can tell, we're getting into the holiday season, and these guys are a lot of fun. I've worked with them in other projects, so it's a good time, and it's always quality, folks. So if you want to get out there, check it out. Okay, let's get to our regular guests, if they're still with me here. They're laughing most of the time during that last part. So, good morning, Sheriff Gerace and Dave Thomas, and we're going to talk about emergency services and all kinds of stuff this morning.
Good morning, Doc.
So how are you? I haven't seen you in a while.
I've been well.
Last time I was doing auctioneering.
That is true. You did a fine job.
I don't know about that.
You missed your calling.
I had to channel my Dave Brown or all those other auctioneers out there. I said, hey. So anyways, Dave, you're welcome back.
Yep, good
You were
morning.
here talking about the Chautauqua Leadership Network not too long ago, so couldn't have been too painful for you, so thank you for coming back. So I know the two of you work together in a variety of ways. So Joe, let's kick it off with you and tell us a little bit about the history of the program and what it's called and what was it called and what it does, and Dave jumping back and forth. So let's go at it.
Okay. I'm thrilled to be here again this morning, and today we are going to be talking about Starflight Helicopter, its origin, and then where we are today. A very unique program that really started under the leadership of then Sheriff John Bentley and the CEO of WCA, a gentleman by the name of Murray Marsh.
Oh, yeah.
And the two of them were, as I said, two peas in a pod. They're both type A individuals. But they looked at the needs of Chautauqua County for emergency medical services. And they came up with a program that survives today, 30 plus years later. But the need was that getting people to trauma centers within an hour of the time that they were injured has been proven to be very effective in saving lives. And in Chautauqua County, we aren't blessed with a level 1 trauma center. We have to go out of county for that. And so if you're severely injured or critically ill, flying in a helicopter may be what saves your life.
Okay, can we stop right
Sure.
there? Now, trauma center is a designation by, saying goodbye to Scrooge there, is a designation, they're everywhere, a designation by the Department of Health or New York State or some organization that says you have this level of care, but you don't have this level of care. It's like a category, correct?
Correct, and Dave probably speak better to that.
All right, we'll come
than I,
back.
but-
Well, if you want, let's jump in right now. People have to understand that, because a lot of times people say, well, I want to go to this hospital, and they say, we can't service you. And they think, well, why not? Why do I have to go somewhere else? So, go ahead.
We take almost 500 patients a year via helicopter to facilities outside of the county that need that specialized care, be it trauma, cardiac, things like that.
All right, so, for instance, we have, what, 3 hospitals? 4 hospitals?
4 hospitals.
And so none of them would be a trauma level center, right?
We've not flown a patient back to a Chautauqua County hospital maybe once a year, and that's on a dire emergency. Everything goes either to Erie, Buffalo. We've flown to Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Rochester.
Okay. None of us are medical doctors. So, but in general, what kind of trauma are we talking about that would be involved here?
Well, somebody that's injured severely in a car crash, falls, or agricultural accidents. There's just a number of things that people might be injured. It might be a fall down the stairs at their home. They have a severe injury that's life-threatening. And there's just, unfortunately, a litany of things that bring the helicopter into play. But back in the mid-'80s, this was very controversial. The public didn't know if we needed a helicopter program.
Really?
Well, they thought about the cost and the benefit, but we have flown thousands of people and thousands of life-saving missions. It started off with a dream and help from the Sheldon Foundation and the county legislature, and we were able to acquire a UH-1L Huey helicopter from the military. And it was a military surplus helicopter. And we had 1 helicopter and a small corps of pilots that were flying. And it's a very unique public-private partnership. So the Sheriff's Office operates the helicopters, does the maintenance, and then WCA Services, WCA Hospital, and the WCA Foundation was phenomenal in supporting the program. They do the medical component. So it's a very unique public-private partnership.
So it's like a team.
It's a team, no question about it.
Like, I'll drive it, you take care of the patient.
Correct.
Now, if we could just turn back the tape a little bit. So let's just say somebody, unfortunately, is in some kind of an accident. The helicopter is not the first thing that shows up, obviously. Somebody else comes, like your emergency squads, your first responders. I'm going to use a term, I think I'm doing this correctly, triage the situation, stabilize the folks. And then who makes the determination for a helicopter? I mean, you just don't pick up the phone and say, can I have a helicopter?
Well, it's almost that simple. It starts with the call itself. So if the call is a specific type of event, for instance, a personal injury motorcycle accident, a rollover car accident, Starflight is immediately put on standby.
Oh, okay.
Because that could result in the need to medevac. And it doesn't mean they're launching, but they're preparing to launch. And then the EMT on the scene or the paramedic on the scene makes that call, we need a helicopter. And then they would be dispatched, and we're based right at WCA, and our hangar facility is there. The pilots are there during their shift, as well as the medical crew, and they launch immediately to either land at the scene or to fly from a particular landing point. Or we do inter-hospital transports too, where someone already in ER needs to move to a higher level, and we fly them out of there.
Yeah, I think an important point to that is all flights aren't just generally because of physical need. It could be due to the need for time. A helicopter trip to an Erie can be 15 minutes. A ground transport to Erie can be an hour and a half.
Wow.
So time can be a critical reason for an air medevac.
Okay. So I understand your role, because you're the sheriff. You're in charge of the pilots. So far, so right?
Pilots and the maintenance side of
Okay.
it.
And Dave, what's your role?
Well, I'm the executive director for WCA Services. I oversee Allstar and the medical side of Starflight. I don't get to play with the sexy part of the program. That's the helicopters and stuff, but I try to make the dollars and cents work at the end of the day.
All right. And so how many staff do you have?
Total, we've got about 135 staff dedicated to the helicopter. We've got,
Wait, whoa, 135 staff.
yeah, we provide,
I didn't have any idea.
we provide the billing function. We provide ground ambulance in both Dunkirk and Jamestown, which is close to 100 staff right there.
Oh, all right, I forgot. So it's more than just a helicopter.
Yeah, the helicopter,
Okay.
as far as medical staff, we have 21 people dedicated to that.
All right.
And then we have our dispatch center, which receives calls from the sheriff's dispatch center on the 911 type calls, and we take care of tracking, monitoring the helicopter during its flight process.
All right, so you have boots on the ground, and then you have the guys up in the air for support. Now, you have a relatively new location in Westfield, right?
We have a substation for Allstar in Westfield, yes.
Okay, and that's only been, what, a couple years now, maybe?
4 years.
Oh, wow, I didn't realize it's gone by that quickly. Whew, okay. So the two of you kind of like work together then on all this.
Absolutely, it's a partnership.
There's a lot that goes on with the program, yes.
A very, very unique partnership.
Do we have pictures of the helicopter?
We do. We brought some
Jeff,
photographs
whenever you want
for
to
you.
pop one of those up, and we'll describe it for our listeners on the radio here when it pops up.
There's been a pretty significant transition from day one where it was funded with public funds and private funds. Today we fly two McDonnell Douglas 900 Explorers. They're twin-engine jet helicopters.
Is that what we're looking at
We
now?
are looking at one of the two 900s right now.
So for our listeners, it's on the, maybe if you look up at the sky, you can see the word Starflight. It's red and white. Now, is there a particular reason for that color? Or is this
Yeah,
just-
and the name. I mean, if you think about how unique Star, the sheriff's badge
Yeah.
and the Star Flight.
Oh, I never put that together. I
And
just
then-
thought it was because up in the air.
The red and white traditionally been sheriff's colors across New York State, so we kept with that with the design of the helicopter. It has really been red and white, except for the 222 was blue and white because we didn't invest in painting it. But it is a very unique program, life-saving program. We're blessed to have that program here in Chautauqua County because we can be assured that we have this available to us, that it's not committed someplace far away. As you see, these are the two units that are flying over the Chautauqua Lake Bridge. Now, we don't launch two at a time normally. It's happened on a very few occasions.
A couple times a year.
Because
Catastrophic situation.
yeah, staffing too. You have to have the staff available. And so usually it's one ship is just backing up the other ship because there's a tremendous amount of maintenance that has to be done on helicopters. So we are always wanting to have one available, weather permitting. We're unique in the way that we deliver service. We fly with a pilot and a co-pilot, and then the medical component is a registered nurse and a paramedic in the back, a flight medic, who are not only trained in their medical side of it, but they're trained in doing all that in a helicopter, which is a whole different game.
My stomach's rolling just thinking about that right now. Oh my gosh. Wow. So you started out with one helicopter.
We did. We started with a Bell, or excuse me, a Huey. It's a UH-1L Navy designation, and then realized that wasn't going to make it because you've got to maintain the helicopter. So we added. This is a picture of the UH-1H, which actually replaced the UH-1L. But this is military surplus. It was obtained from the U.S. military at no cost, and then we had the UH-1L. We needed another helicopter. We added a Bell 222. That came from the New Jersey State Police, and that was our lead ship for many years until it timed out. It had some significant mechanical issues, and this is the Bell 222.
It looks a little more streamlined.
Yeah, if people remember the show Airwolf, this is the same helicopter that was flown in that TV series. But this served us for many years in Chautauqua County, and then the Huey was its backup ship.
Okay.
But when the 222 reached its maximum time, it would have needed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in upgrade. We had made a really tough decision. We jumped away from the way we were doing business and went into what's called a Part 135 designation from the FAA, which took us about over a year to get. And what it did is made us commercial carriers. So we were flying just like American Airlines. We can fly for hire. And the whole system changed in that we were able to get different helicopters had to have them. Can't fly in that designation without specific types of aircraft. You can't do it with military surplus. So made the big leap. The partnership together did that. We were able to purchase those 2 McDonnell Douglas from Allegheny General Hospital, and they came to us in this drab green, but they were modified. They did come with medevac interiors, which is huge. Big advantages to this helicopter. If you can see from this picture on the left side or the back side of the helicopter, there's no tail rotor. Tail rotors are dangerous when you're on scene with emergency personnel coming around the helicopter. That tail rotor is deadly.
So you just have the one on top?
There's the 5-bladed rotor system on the top of the helicopter, and on the back side, that's what's called NOTAR. NOTAR is a non-tail rotor system that uses jet propulsion, for lack of a better term, that's directional, so the pilot controls it with foot pedals. That keeps the helicopter from spinning around in circles, but it's it's quiet. Compared to the Huey, it's, I don't know, a tenth of the noise.
Much quieter, yes.
So this was the original. It came in green. We bought them used. But again, used helicopter, every moving component has a cycle of life. You know, it's got to be replaced after so many turns of the rotors on the top of the helicopter. So in a sense, it's all brand new. It continues to stay on the cutting edge of technology, and moving parts are replaced, even if they're not worn out. They have to be replaced. They have a lifespan, and then they're shelved. So we've been able, as Dave mentioned, we're flying between 400 and 500 flights a year. Moving patients to the centers that will help save their lives.
Over 30 years, we've flown over 10,000 flights.
10,000 flights.
So going back to the sheriff's question there, does Chautauqua County need it? Chautauqua County can't not need it.
Yeah.
Really?
It's essential.
Okay. Hold your breath for a second. Folks, you're watching Chautauqua Sunrise. I'm Doc Hamels. My guests today are Dave Thomas, who's the Executive Director of
WCA Services.
WCA Services. We're throwing around a lot of terms here. And Sheriff Gerace, who is in charge of the sheriff's side of the helicopter situation here in Chautauqua County for Emergency Services. If you have a question for them or a comment, or want to share a story perhaps, here's the call at 753-5225. Okay, so don't be shy. We want to hear from you. Okay, so I can't even think of a number right now. What does a helicopter cost?
Well, it depends on what. If you're going out to purchase a brand new helicopter, you're talking between $4.5 and $8.5 million a helicopter.
$1 million?
$1 million, yeah. It's not an inexpensive system, and the helicopters are not. We were able to negotiate a really good price for 2 McDonnell Douglas. I think we paid $3.7 million
for the 2 of them.
For 2 of them. And we were able to do it in such a way that, and this is where the genius of Dave Thomas and his staff, to do the cost-benefit analysis, and then the county legislature helped us in bonding for the helicopters, but the system pays back the debt service for the bond, so it's self-sufficient. And for the county, we went from having it part of my budget to having it cost neutral, because people now, we can bill their insurance companies. Before, we could not receive any money for flying, because that's the law. You can't take a government-issued or government surplus helicopter and make money on it, or get revenue from it. We don't make money, we're non-for-profit, but...
break even is nice.
Yeah, break even is what we are. And,
that's a goal, yeah.
That's the goal.
Doesn't always get there, but it's a goal. You know, going into that vein, you know, a lot of people don't realize the cost of operating the helicopters. We have people sitting there today, pilots, mechanic, medical team. It costs close to $10,000 for every flight we take, because there's, you know, the heat bill's churning all the time, wages churning. They're sitting there trained and ready to respond at less than 10 minutes notice to the catastrophic need. So there's cost constantly going through. Right now, as the sheriff indicated, we have a helicopter that was totally torn down just to the hull for a 7,500-hour inspection. It's a must-do. That inspection, even though nothing was worn out in it, is going to cost us $100,000 to do some refurb, putting in some new parts.
Holy moly.
It's an expensive operation. We don't generate quite $10,000 in revenue out of every flight. We generate about $8,300 out of every flight. So we do reach out and look for community support, some grant funding and things like that. And thankfully, the community has been there and backed us for these needs.
So let's go down that dark hole of insurance. With the way things are being bantered about and so forth, do you see this as a program that's in jeopardy with insurance? And with all the Affordable Health Care Act and all the changes?
Thankfully, not at this point. Insurance companies are always looking to cut the bigger ticket item. A helicopter is a bigger ticket item versus a ground transport. Medicare, we are lucky in the sense that we're in a rural area. Medicare gives us a 50% premium reimbursement. So our Medicare reimbursement for a flight is about $6,500. 4 years ago, myself and a couple others in the state lobbied Medicaid, because Medicaid used to pay us $300 to fly a trip.
$300?
$300 and $38 a loaded mile. We'd get about $700 for a flight, which obviously doesn't even cut it. So they actually came up and matched Medicare, which was a significant increase because almost 20% of our flights are Medicaid. So,
wow. So here's the tough question: is now you have your first responders, they're triaging an accident victim, maybe a car accident. Obviously, you can't ask them, do you have insurance, or I mean, how's that work?
Never.
We respond on scene calls regardless of
'Cause that's
insurance.
law.
Yes.
That's law.
Well, and it's what's right to do too.
Okay. Wow. Okay.
You know, we try to get all the insurance information if possible, but if somebody's laying unconscious in a field, that's not practical.
Right.
At the end of the day, we have to get the patient's name and all of that information to chart the information for New York State's needs in their medical records. But quite often we write off calls if someone has no insurance.
Right. Charity cases and things like that. Joe, how many other programs are like this in New York State?
There's only a handful, really. You've got Mercy Flight, and they're not public-private partnership. We're the only one. I think there's only one other in the nation that is actually a public-private partnership. But helicopter services, Medevac, Mercy Flight, our partners to the east, northeast side, and then Stat Medevac operates out of Pennsylvania, various sites, and actually other states as well. But we're the three, and as you go further east, Medevac, you have Mercy Flight Central, which is a totally different organization, and then there's some private companies, and incidentally, their costs or their charges to their patient are probably double.
3 to 4 times.
Yeah, plus what we charge, because we're a non-for-profit.
So now at every hospital you have a helipad or helipad, or?
We have a helipad. Our hangar and helipad is here next door to the WCA hospital, and in Dunkirk at our facility up there where we station our ambulance, we have a helipad up there, which is about a mile from Brooks Hospital.
But the other hospitals all have a pad of some
At
sort?
Westfield Hospital, we land in their back parking lot, and at Lakeshore Hospital, they have a designated landing area.
Okay.
Some of the hospitals in Buffalo and Erie have rooftop helipads.
Okay. And obviously, you could set down in any field if it was appropriate, right? I mean,
Well, not any field, but we have.
appropriate
Well, we
field.
actually have designated landing areas in and around the county. For instance, the Asheville Fire Department had a family contribute and donate. We have a landing pad right in Stowe, which is a designated landing pad. But there's times that we'll land on the New York State Thruway. We'll land, on a roadway or in a field, but pilot.
So when I was with BOCES, they would land out on our front yard.
Sure.
I remember that wasn't
Right.
appropriate.
Well, all the volunteer fire services.
They know where their spots are.
Yeah, exactly, and the fire services have been trained. One of the things that Dave's people do is put on ground schools and teach the volunteers the safety and what to look for in a landing zone if we have an on-scene situation. So, and the pilots have to make split-second decisions on, is that a safe place for us to come in? Is weather going to permit this flight?
So this is really quite a working machine between WCA, the Sheriff's Office, and the first responders, and the hospitals.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's one big machine that's got to work together in harmony.
It is true, and in both sides of it. You've got a doctor in the hospital that says this patient needs to fly. They know that this patient needs to fly. Now, that could be at Brooks, so we would launch to Brooks, stage, and they bring the patient to the helicopter, and off they go to to one of the areas that Dave mentioned. Usually, most of our flights go to either to Hammett or ECMC, but we do fly to Pittsburgh, Cleveland. But the doctor makes that decision if they're going to need to be flown.
As well as it's steered by weather.
Well, I was going to ask you about that. You know, our county, sometimes the weather is like you draw a line right down the middle, either up and down or sideways.
Absolutely.
So what do you do in those cases?
Well, and the weather makes a difference. If we go on to an on-scene, if the pilot's comfortable with the weather and it's safe to fly, they'll fly to the scene. But we may not be able to go to Buffalo with that patient. They may have to take the patient to Erie.
Correct.
So, or the next appropriate facility. So weather steers a lot of it.
Yeah, and weather is, you know, what we've done, and this is something that came out of the Starflight Board of Directors, and we talked about, and we are doing, repositioning a helicopter to North County. We have quarters at the Dunkirk Airport as well. So the pilots who study the weather, they see that tomorrow morning it's going to be foggy in Jamestown and blue sky in Dunkirk. They'll, before the fog comes in, we'll reposition our helicopter and our crew to North County so we can still fly that ridge without running into weather problems.
We have a phone call. You ready? Good morning, caller.
Good morning. My question is, I see the Starflights at a lot of events, parades, they do school events and stuff. How do they recoup the expensive cost of operating it for things like parades?
There is no recoup of any expense for that. We do those types of things as a public awareness to make people aware of that the program is here, and then so that when we do have some reach out and ask for some community support, they say, you know, they've been here for the mock DWI programs that we partner together with, the outreach to some of the schools and things like that. We want to be aware, but we want to be smart in how we do that outreach.
Yeah, and you said you're a commercial
We're a commercial carrier.
And so you almost have to do outreach, don't
We
you?
do. And part of what it's training, it's also public awareness. But the board has made decisions that there's only certain public relations events that we are going to approve because everybody wants the helicopter to come in and land at their little meeting or their get-together. And we'd love to be able to do that, but it's cost prohibitive.
Caller, does that answer your question?
Second question. I'll say I was in an accident or I needed to take a ride to Erie. I can't afford to pay. My insurance doesn't cover. I've heard say that you write off the cost, but somebody that's using it, will you get where you end up having to file bankruptcy because you can't pay the cost of the ride?
So if for example, your incident was an auto accident, that doesn't bill against your health insurance, that goes against your auto insurance. We take and bill the insurances, but at the end of the day, we have a variety of different programs in place. One is called a charity care program. So if folks call us up and they say, geez, I don't have an insurance, I don't have this, is there anything you can do to help us? We'll help them set up a charity care app. They'll provide us with incomes, things like that. And based on formulas, we'll determine if there's any ability to pay or write it off as a charity care transport.
Okay, thank you. You guys are doing a great service to the county. I hope I never have to use it, but I do know people that have had to use it, and
yeah, we had a family member.
It's saved their lives.
Okay. Well, thanks for calling. And as the folks that are listening right now live, that's how easy it is. Just give us a call, 753-5225. And they don't bite. We don't bite. As long as you're nice, we're nice. Give us a call. Joe, where do you get your pilots? I mean, are they like former Air Force, or what's the deal?
Well, most of the pilots that we employ come from military backgrounds. So what we do when we have an opening for a pilot, we advertise nationally, and we then interview, obviously look at their resumes. We require that they have a minimum number of hours in rotorcraft, and that minimum is about 1,500 hours, and some have 10,000 hours of pilot experience. So we believe the brightest and the best pilots, and we've got a tremendous crew right now.
Great.
Tremendous crew.
Pilots, though, are going to be a concern down the road.
Sure.
There was an article in the paper the other day that said in the military they have upwards of 2,000 pilot shortage.
Yeah.
And that's a concern, because everything's becoming more drone and the likes of that.
Okay.
And we've struggled a little bit because we have several pilots that are still serving. And by the way, to all those veterans, happy Veterans Day, and thank you for your service. And they've been called back to duty, and we've had to fill the gaps during their absence.
Well, hold that thought. We have a second phone call. Okay, good morning, caller.
This is Linda Spalding.
Hey, Lynn.
Good morning, Sheriff Joe, and good morning, Dave.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, it's great to see you on the show. I want to compliment the rescue service and what you do in Chautauqua County. We are so fortunate. It's just unbelievably efficient and effective, and my gratitude goes out to all of you who help with this.
Linda, from where do you speak? Do you have personal experience, family experience on that?
Well, I do know that in the ballpark in Chautauqua, at Sharp Field, they have a landing site.
That is correct.
Okay.
And there have been a number of pickups where, people have been ill and they just, take them via ambulance to the ballpark to be lifted. Okay. And people have nothing but the highest praise for the service, the pickup service. And of course, Doug was airlifted from Westfield Hospital, but it wasn't an accident, So.
Sure.
No, and it works out so. This is one of the reasons we do a lot of these ground schools, because it is a fine dance when we go on and on scene that the volunteers will show up with the patient from the middle of a field or what have you, and help assist us with the patient into the helicopter. It's 100% a team
you have to
effort.
drill.
No question.
Yeah. I always know when there's a pickup in Sharp Field because I'm close to the Sharp Field and I can hear the helicopter.
Little vibration on the windows.
Oh boy, you can really hear it. But thank you again, and I also wanted to express my appreciation and gratitude to all of our veterans
for
the tremendous service. And Doc, we have something on Facebook. Have you seen it?
Which one was that?
The one that I put on for Veterans Day.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, yes, check it out.
Okay.
And I do mention that our veterans are the first priority to serve in the senior employment program.
That's right. We were talking about that last week, weren't we?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, happy Veterans Day to everybody and a good weekend. And the number to call for services at the Office for Aging and the Senior Employment Program and the free computer training is the Office for Aging in Mayville, 753-4471, or check us out on Facebook.
There you go. And especially veterans that are looking maybe for some part-time work, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm always looking for veterans.
Super. All right, then. Enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay,
Thanks
thank
for
you.
calling. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so we were saying that there could be a possible pilot shortage?
Well, I mean, if indeed the military, who is a big feeder of pilots to this industry, is struggling, it could be down the road that we could struggle too.
Okay, so can you raise your own pilots?
Some.
I know it seems like a weird question.
You have some people that will take the initiative to go out and go to private training and pay for that training.
Some of the big commercial ones in the country have taken to buying tour agencies that do helicopters in the Grand Canyon, things like that, to get their pilots to get those hours so that they can bring them in to the medevac service.
So, Lynn expressed her appreciation from her perspective on a personal note and so forth. Are you got any really interesting stories? They don't have to be gory, but I mean, anything that pops out of your mind in the last few years that, wow, that was significant? For instance, the one I'm thinking of was on the thruway maybe 5-6 years ago. A van with 12 people in it flipped over, and it was casualties, was fatalities, and I know everybody in the county was scrambling. I'm sure you guys were involved. You must have been.
Yeah, we had, I think...
There was four helicopters landed on the thruway that day.
One of the things that sticks in my mind, Doc, we were out at Peak and Peak, and the helicopter had come in there, and we were talking with the pilots. It was obviously on the ground, and a car pulled up, and a guy got out, and he was crying. I go, "Are you okay?" He goes, "Yeah, I just wanted to see the ship that saved my life."
Wow.
So it was like, whoa. And he had been flown out from a car crash, and the doctor said, had you come in this ER a minute later, you wouldn't be here. So, there's so many stories like that.
Yep.
We've had so many victims come forward, saves that say, this is my story, and that makes it all worthwhile.
Can the public come view these at all? Or,
Sure.
I mean, how would they get a hold of you?
They can I should have brought the phone number, but they can call our building at 664-4700 and ask for public relations. We set up tours of the hangar, the helicopters all the time. We've brought Girl Scout troops, kindergarten. The pilots, the team loves when the little kids come.
Oh my God.
They like to come for that type of thing. We fly up to the Boy Scouts in February. Boy Scouts, Cub Scouts, they love to be around and see the helicopter. They love to touch it. We love for them to come and be part of it.
Okay, great. So we talked about the pilots. Now let's go to the other side. Okay, so we leave your department. We go to Dave's side of the train, or the workshop, the program, whatever we want to call it. Where do you get the staff that say, yeah, I'll volunteer to go in a helicopter, go sideways, and I get seasick and turn green,
and some of them do.
And I mean, I got to tell you right now, there isn't enough Dramamine that I could buy. I don't think that I could stand up and still do my job that I could take to do that.
A lot of our nurses, well, all of our nurses come with some kind of an emergency department background.
Okay.
That's important because they've dealt with those critical patients in an emergent setting. Our flight medics come from generally our ground staff. They've gotten some experience. They've grown through the program. They've taken the opportunities to advance their credentials and some of their standings with the company. They work with our medical directors, who are very interactive, to help them raise the bar of their performance levels.
So this is more or less on-the-job training? I mean, you say,
a lot of it, yes.
I'd be interested in flying a helicopter. That doesn't scare me. So they kind of take you under their wing and get you some time in there?
Our medical directors spend a lot of time interviewing with them, speaking with them, making sure that they have not only the right physical skills, but the right mental skills. That's very important.
It's got to be stressful. I mean, what happens? Do you decompress after one of these?
There's sometimes that they have to, yes, especially on some of the messy situations. You had brought up that one on the thruway, yes.
Right.
And quite often, if there is something that's happened bad in the community, they'll have a debrief, possibly the next night or next morning, with either the volunteers, maybe some of the sheriff's dispatch. It depends on who was involved in it.
Yeah, we've spent quite a bit of time on this show over the last few years talking about veterans and post-traumatic stress and so forth. I would think y'all have, I mean, your department, Joe, as well. Not even the medical side, but I mean, you must deal with all that sort of thing, don't you?
Our medical team, the ones that bother them the most are the young kids.
Sure.
That touches them, because a lot of our medical team, I'm sure the pilots as well, they've got children, and that really affects them the most.
Yeah. Well, we're so glad we have this opportunity to have people who can do that sort of thing. We're down to about a minute and 40 seconds here. Joe, what else you want to tell us?
Well, about the program, we hope it's here for the long haul, and we will be doing fundraising on and off throughout the year, and we encourage people to get involved. To me, it's very important that we have that tool available to us when needed here in the county, and not offered by a third party who might be here or not be here. So
here to stay.
Stay involved. Yeah, we've got 30+ years of history, and hopefully 30 more to come.
Well, listeners and viewers right now might be saying, well, I'd be willing to chip in $20 or $10. Can they do that?
They can reach out to me at my email, david.thomas@wcaservices.com. They can reach out to the one phone number I gave you earlier, 664-7353. We have an event coming up in May. This will be the third year we've done it. We call it Starry Night. That's May 12th. We'll be advertising for that. It's a very enjoyable evening. We'd appreciate anybody that wanted to come. And if they're not able to come, we do silent auction, baskets, those types of things. If you want to make a donation or a contribution, we'll always be glad to accept it and thank you.
Please be sure that you let me know, and we'll certainly promote that here on the show.
Will do.
Well, gentlemen, we're running out of time again.
It's easy.
It's easy here. Well, I want to thank you for all of your service, here in Chautauqua County, and knowing that we've got a backup system to the first responders and the hospitals if things go south on a patient. And as I said, I've had a family member that needed the services, so we appreciate all your work and your help on that. So, folks, you've been watching Chautauqua Sunrise. My guests today have been Sheriff Joe Gerace, And he's in charge of the star flight and the pilots and so forth. Maintenance, I got that part. Dave Thomas, the Executive Director of Emergency Services at WCA Hospital. And all you veterans and families of veterans, enjoy a nice weekend. Take a little time and appreciate what we've got, and certainly appreciate the ability to have Starflight here in Chautauqua County and support it in any way, shape, or form you can. I'm Doc Hamels signing off for another week. We'll see you right here next week at 9 a.m. on Access 5. Take care now.